I'm going to share something with you that to me absolutely helps validate the idea that there is way more to life than just things that you can see with your eyes or prove through science or math or normal normal scientific explanations. Of course, science is wonderful, math is wonderful, but what I'm about to share with you is just one example of many, like I could probably talk for hours about the experiences I've had in my life where I knew things that as a human being, I just should not know. Like there's literally no logical scientific reason for me to know some of the things that I have known over the years. And I had another example happen recently, and so I just had to share it with you because to me, it was extremely exciting. Every time this happens to me, it's brand new, where I'm like, oh my word, I should have not known that. And so I want to share it with you because to me, these types of stories are fascinating and exciting and encouraging because to me, I've had moments in my life where I felt completely alone. Like just really low, just very dark, just sad and just alone. And to me, whether in really difficult times or just in life in general, to me, it is absolutely crucial to know that we're not alone, that there's way more to life than just what we can see with our eyes. Which is why I think I titled this, I haven't created the title yet. I think I'm calling it something like Supernatural Happenings, because you'll see. Also, before I share this, I totally get that for some of you, am just a random person on the internet, and you could hear this experience and be like, it's very easy to make something like that up. Agreed. It is. And I watch things sometimes where I'm like, yeah, right. But it's when I don't know the person. So, or, sometimes I hear things that I'm like, I don't know them, but they seem extremely authentic and real. So I'm putting this out there. You do with it what you will, but I feel like I need to put this out there for any of you out there, since this channel is all about encouragement. I wanted to put this out there to encourage anybody who is maybe feeling alone or is maybe doubting if God is real, if maybe there is no such thing as supernatural things in the world. I've experienced things. I have known things that I logically and physically could never know, unless I was being shown them by someone who knows all things or knows certain things that I don't know, knows things that humans don't know. Humans walking around on Earth. Here we go. Again, this is just one example of, I have so many of these stories. If you are someone who knows me, then I hope this is like extra encouraging or exciting to you, because I'm hoping that adds another layer of like, okay, she would not make this up. And also she would have no reason to like have an altered state of mind in any way. That like you would know me and that this is real. Okay, that said, I do in-home childcare for a family. And last year they were living in an apartment, and last year they bought a home, but they weren't able to move in for several months. And they didn't know how long they were going to have to wait. They actually did end up moving into their new home. They've been there for, I don't know, several months now. I don't know, 6 months? Anyways, it's been a little while. But last year, when they were just talking about the new house that they bought, and I hadn't even been there, I had seen pictures, like the listing online. I'd seen pictures of like, oh, here's the outside, here's, the bedrooms, bathrooms, that kind of thing. But I'd never been there. I didn't know the surrounding area. To me, it just looked like, oh, a cute house in a cute little neighborhood. I thought was maybe like a suburban type neighborhood, something like that. So that's all I knew. But what happened, there was one day where they had talked about things with their house, or maybe I was just like driving home from work thinking like, oh, wow, it should be exciting. This move is pretty cool, moving from an apartment to like a home with a yard and a neighborhood and like space to run around for the kids. And so I was just thinking about it, I think is when this happened. But in one of these moments, I got like a mental image. Like for me, it's kind of like, it's in my mind's eye. So like, I told someone else this example, you might be watching this now, recently, like your mind's eye is like what happens like if someone says, think of a black cat, imagine a black cat with a green bow tie. So like, I can imagine that even now as I'm saying it, I'm like seeing an image, but I'm not like seeing it. You know what I mean? Like your eyes are open, but your mind's eye is giving you some way of seeing that image without it affecting what's around you. So in my mind's eye, when I was thinking about this family's new home that they were going to move into eventually, I got a mental image of a bear being in their yard, which I was like, okay, Kendall, like you are being ridiculous. Because as far as I knew, this home was in like a suburban type area with houses everywhere. Like I wasn't really familiar with the city. It was going to be a totally different city than the one they were in. And I just thought like, okay, that's ridiculous. But I think I think at the time, maybe I prayed that they would stay safe or like just in case. I was like, okay, God, just in case, just keep them safe from any animals in the yard or something. I was feeling nervous about like, oh, playing in the yard with the kids. What about the bear? I'm like, because I had this mental image of a bear in their backyard. So I tossed that aside thinking like, you're being silly. This is not the type of home where a bear is just in the backyard. Okay. So, so remember that. So then another time, and this again was before they even moved into their new home. Again, I was thinking about, the move and it should be interesting. I wonder what it'll be like in the new place. And I got, again, a mental image of like something sharp. So like either sharp glass or just something sharp in connection with their backyard. This I did pay attention to because 2 or 3 years before, I'd gotten the exact same mental image of something sharp. And in connection with, I was praying for like, our church does a sports camp thing every summer and it's out at a school in the field. And so I was part of the team that was going to like pray for that event before it happened. And as I was praying, I got a mental image of there being something sharp in the field. So I was like, that doesn't make sense. Just don't think about that, Kendall. It just kept coming back and coming back, this mental image. So I was like, in the prayer, I was like, okay, I'm going to pray this, even though it feels weird. I pray that nobody gets hurt from the sharp thing in the field. It turned out later that there was like yellow jackets or wasp hornets, however you want to describe it, some sort of stinging bug nest in the ground. And a kid did end up getting stung. Thankfully, they were okay. But I thought like, okay, was the sharp thing referencing stingers? I didn't know, but I knew that there was something to that. So when I got that mental image of like something sharp, again, like glass or just something pointed, with a mental image of it being connected to their backyard, I was like, okay, for sure I need to pay attention to this because of what had happened years before with praying for the other thing. So here's the other thing. I wasn't going to like go to that family and be like, listen, sometimes I just know things and there's just a vague idea of a sharp thing in your backyard. You should look into that. Like, what are they what are they supposed to do with that? Thanks. Are you okay? Like you really risk. Also, they don't have the same beliefs as me, and so it would almost seem extra weird to be like, okay, this religious girl in our home is telling us we have something sharp in our backyard at our new home. She can't tell us what it is, where it is, what to look for, how deep is it. Like, it would not have been helpful. But I was very concerned about there being something sharp in their backyard because they have 2 kids and, they love to spend time outdoors and they're excited to have this yard. So I was so worried that they were going to be out there. And I thought, okay, maybe this is like the sports camp thing. Maybe there's like a wasp nest out there in their yard that they don't know about. So I was praying so hard that they would find the sharp things or get rid of the sharp things before anyone's hurt. And I didn't know what that meant. I didn't know the details, but it kept coming back to me over and over. I was so concerned about this, whatever this sharp thing was in their backyard. So I was praying. Sometimes I would just pray about the sharp things, and sometimes I would pray for like the wasp nest or the bee nest to be discovered and removed. So just to try to cover all the bases. So fast forward to like months and months later, they eventually get to move in to their home, and then even more months go by. Well, no, first let's back up to when they first move into that home. One of the things that they share with me, just kind of in passing, is like, oh yeah, the new house here. Yeah, well, somebody told us apparently, I can't remember if it was one of their neighbors or something, but someone had told them like, oh, hey, before you guys got here, there was a bear spotted in your yard. It's like, I was like, really? A bear in your yard? And she's like, yeah, pretty crazy, huh? So I need to tell you about the neighborhood. It turns out it is not just your regular suburban neighborhood where there would never be animals in the backyard. It actually is within short, like maybe a 10 to 15 minutes drive to like a mountain that, you know, people ski on, and like there's forests. So it's like a neighborhood tucked into this nature-y area. So I didn't know at the time, but it actually wasn't super weird to think that wild animals might be roaming through their backyard. I didn't know, but then apparently there was a bear, but not a dangerous kind. So moving on from that, and I didn't say anything to her because I thought like, okay, it might be weird to be like, I knew there was a bear in your yard. Like, it, you know what I mean? Like, it could come across the wrong way. So fast forward more months in this home, and yesterday I was sitting with one of the kids eating lunch or snack or something, and the parents were in the kitchen doing things. They were working on the home, inside, outside, taking care of projects at the home, still trying to kind of get settled in. Well, the husband walked in and he's holding something in his hand. He's like, look what I found. And it looks like a rusted, like a razor blade or some sort of blade from like maybe a box cutter or something, but it's just the blade and it looks brown and rusted. And, you know, his wife is like, oh my goodness, you know, and that was out there. And I said to him, where was that? He's like, just out in the backyard, buried out under, you know, he told me the location, near the house where they all play and do things. He's like, yeah, it was just in the dirt there. And I was like, okay. This is too wild. And I told them like like I said, they don't have the same beliefs as me. So I didn't want to come across as like some, you know what I mean? I didn't want to come across a certain way, but I was like, this is too much to not share. So I was like, okay, you guys, this is going to sound super weird. But months ago, before you guys even moved in here, I thought I had two images come to mind: a bear in your backyard and something sharp being in your backyard. And I was praying that you would find the sharp thing and get it out so that no one would get hurt. And they actually ended up telling me, they're like, actually, there's been a lot of sharp things we've pulled out of that yard. So like knives, other shards of things. There apparently were many sharp objects. Not hornets' nests, by the way, ironically in this case. But so what I had prayed for the other thing actually ended up being, you know, anyways, you get it. So I had to share that with them. And I had to share it with you because this is not by any means the only time something like this has happened. I may share other videos if I feel like it or if other things come up, but I really, for some reason, was like, I need to share this one. I will link in the description below. I do have another video of a time where because I don't just get like mental images of things. Sometimes I get like, I feel like I'm having a memory, but it's a memory of something that's never happened to me. And then it usually is something that's happened in the past or something that's going to happen. So I have an example of something I experienced on a drive home from work that actually had me praying for my safety, which ended up being pertinent and needed later on that evening. It's a whole thing. I was terrified. I did the video right after it happened, or like right after I got back from the thing happening. You could tell I'm like not on caffeine or anything, I don't think. I was just like hyped up because I was like, this was scary, but I stayed safe. But again, I have story after story after story. I need to put this out there for anyone out there who's watching and maybe doubting, feeling like maybe you're doubting your beliefs and maybe you're doubting that God is real or doubting that supernatural things are real. Maybe we are just, human beings that live and die and there's nothing else. And that you're sad about that, because that would be sad if this was all there is, right? But there is more going on than what you can see, and you're not alone. I'm not lying, but again, I could just be a random lady on the internet. You do with it what you will. Hopefully you're encouraged. Thanks for watching.